Good evening, everybody. I'm Tony Silver. I'm the Vice Chairman of the Planning and Zoning Commission. I am acting as Chairman tonight in the stead of the Chairman, Fred Garrity. And I'm calling the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting of April 21st, 2021 to order. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And I think we've had a little bit of a tradition with Bill Chin putting the flag up on the screen. If not, then we can just proceed. Let's just proceed. I pledge allegiance to the flag, the United States of America,
and to the republic
for which
it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And Bill Maher, thank you very much for bringing that flag into into your little screen there. Okay, let's do the roll. I noted that the chairman is absent tonight, and I will note as well that Commissioner Prush, an alternate, will be acting as a voting member tonight. So with that in mind, well, let's just go around. Commissioner D'Aquila.
D'Aquila is present.
Commissioner Corey.
Present.
Commissioner Prush.
Here.
And Tony Silver is here as well.
Mr. Chairman, I may, Mr. Cinto may be calling
yes,
in here.
Please. Oh, okay. Who's going to give me the heads up whether he's in or not?
I think is his phone number ending in 103 there? Is that right, Linda?
Yes.
Yes, I have given permission for him to speak. He may need to press *6 to unmute.
Mr. Cinto, are you on the line?
Any other discussion, any questions on that?
Try *6 if you haven't done that yet.
I'm sorry, I just don't understand why would you. I have my request.
Don. Oh, he's muted. Can you unmute him, Bill?
I can only ask to unmute, and I'm not sure what that does when he's on the phone, which I've pressed the button to ask to unmute.
So all in favor of reducing the scope?
We're getting bleed from the Board of Finance meeting here.
By $60,000.
Thank you. All right, if we can get Commissioner Cinto in. Wait, did that just change? Don, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, good to hear from you. It's been a while. Welcome.
Whoa, just got better.
Good to hear.
Don, good to hear from you.
Okay.
All right, so Commissioner Cinto, we're doing the roll. We can acknowledge you as here, correct?
Right.
All right, good. Welcome. Attorney Cordell, you have some things you want. You're welcome. You have some things you want to say for the record?
Right.
Sure, just our normal announcements regarding how the meeting is being conducted. Tonight is our regularly scheduled April 21st meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission. It's being conducted pursuant to the Governor's Executive Orders 7B and 7I, which allows the meeting to be conducted by video conference and teleconference over the internet or the telephone. The public may comment during the public comments section of the meeting by either hitting *9 on the phone or raising their hand electronically on the Zoom application. We'll provide those instructions again when the time comes. Please note that any comments posted on Facebook Live or any other online format are not included in the record, and the Commission will not see those comments. The agenda for tonight's meeting was posted at least 24 hours in advance of the meeting. Materials for all applications were also included on the town website 24 hours in advance of tonight's meeting. I would ask all commissioners and participants to please identify yourself before speaking, but for the benefit of those who might be listening only by telephone. And lastly, I'd remind everyone that tonight's meeting is being recorded. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Attorney Cordone. So this is a public hearing, and we will start with the first item on the agenda, which is, well, it's two things. It's combined. One's a text amendment for a zone change at 7182 Main Street and 7192 Main Street. That's up near the Monroe border on Route 25. The first is a text amendment to convert it to a new zone, which we refer to as the Long Hill Green and Town Hall Node Zone. And the second item is a zone change. So one is to convert that section of town that they're asking for, those two addresses, to include them in the zone, and then the second item would be to actually change the zone. But we do have correspondence from the attorney. Mr. Lebrandi, do you want to let us know what they're asking?
Yes, so as of right now, they're requesting a continuance to the next regular scheduled meeting.
Okay, so this is the second continuance for that, but if that's what they want, I'll entertain a motion to continue that to the May meeting.
So it's May 19th.
So moved.
Thank you.
Chairman, we just have a motion for each of the
Okay,
agenda
all right.
items, if you don't mind.
So motion, first item that I'm asking for I'll assume that Commissioner Corey was referring to was for the text amendment to the zoning regulations. We have a motion. We need a second to continue that item. Commissioner D'Aquila seconds it. All in favor? We'll just do a show of hands. Unanimous.
I'm in favor.
Oh, thank you, Don. I forgot you were there. It's fun. Thank you. Thank you. Continue to
Mr. Chairman,
speak up.
if Commissioner Cinto could mute his phone when he's not speaking, it's picking up a lot of background noise. He can toggle his mute button by pressing *6.
Did you hear that, Don?
Yep, let's get back to town hall.
No question, but do hit *6 while you're not speaking, okay?
Right.
All right, thank you. Okay, so that first, the text amendment part of that application, we voted unanimously to continue, and now let's do the second one. This is for the zone change. It's, I indicated what it is. They're asking for a continuation. Do we have a motion to continue? Commissioner D'Aquila, seconded by Commissioner Corey. All those in favor, raise your hands. 4-0, gets continued. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is Moorefield Farms, but I am going to take item number 4, which is 55 Merritt Boulevard, before the Moorefield Farms application. Attorney Cordone will be recusing. And so we're going to do this first. And Attorney Nugent will be taking Attorney Cordone's place for that particular application. So 55 Merritt Boulevard is a special permit site plan application to allow a freestanding 2,800 square foot truck maintenance garage in the IL3 zone, which is the Trumbull Corporate Park, pursuant to Article 15 and Article 2, Section 4.4 of the zoning regulations. Okay, so staff report.
Thank you, Vice Chair. As you stated, this is 55 Merritt Boulevard. It is located in the IL3 zone. It is, I believe, around 8 acres of property. This is this addition. This is a separate structure. It's 2,800 square feet for a commercial building for truck maintenance. The company that's going to be utilizing this is Levco. Levco owns the building. They have their company there, as well as a few other companies, which they're probably going to discuss with you later. But from discussing this use with them, they'd only be utilizing their own trucks and vans there. This isn't a 24-hour operation. This is a their own small fleet of vehicles that they maintain, that they're going to maintain in garage on site. See, from looking at the use as an ancillary use in terms of what's allowed in the zone, it is I believe it is a use that's ancillary to fabrication manufacturing, which they are doing there. The bulk requirements, they do meet all the bulk requirements.
So just to interject, Rob, I'm sorry. I noticed there's some parking spaces being taken out. That will not affect the parking qualification?
No, so as of right now, they have 445 parking spaces after their after this, if this is put in. Oh, and they need to have 367 spaces. So they're, I think, 50 or so spaces over. There's on the site plan, there is a container. They wanted to add some containers and a gas tank to the site. That is not included in the site plan application. I did discuss that with them. I just would like the commission to know and to state on the record when they do, if they do close the public hearing, that those items are not involved. It's solely just the maintenance garage. If they want those items, they would have to come back to this commission.
That's good to know.
They haven't submitted any signage. If they want to put any signage on that building, they would have to come back in front of this commission too. Other than that, it seems like a use that this company needs to grow and to work with. It is in the industrial zone, so it seems like a use that is needed. Storing vehicles inside of a structure, they are going to have to go in front of the building department and fire marshal to get their approvals. I know engineering submitted their report as well too. So I guess that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lebrandi. Bill Maurer, do you want to say anything?
Yes, because it's a repair facility, they have to apply for a miscellaneous industrial users general permit with the town, and they'll need to submit as-built plan.
And there's a letter from Tatiana. Yeah, so that's covered in what you just said.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. And we will note for the record, I will note for the record that Rob says both signage and the approval for tanks will have to come back to this board if they want signs. All right, at this point, let's listen to the application. Who's presenting on is it Mr. Wakely? You're muted.
Yes, I am. What we want to do is build a freestanding metal building, just separated from our existing building. It's going to be for just our use. We're not trying to go out and repair trucks other than ours.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to stop you and ask you for your state your name and address for the record, and then
I'm sorry. My name is Ken Wakely. I work at Levco, 55 Merritt Boulevard, Trumbull, Connecticut.
Thank you, sir. Tell us a little bit about Levco as well.
Levco is a heating and air conditioning building. We supply oil and propane. We have the warehouse in the building and the office area in the building. Also, we manage what we call the collab, which is an area for people to rent desks and office space.
How long have you been in Trumbull in that site?
The company has been there 3 years. Prior to that, it was a Unilever building, and I worked in the building at that time.
Thank you. So I'll leave, you may, I'm not sure if you're planning to share your screen and show us your plans, but proceed if you are.
I was not. I supplied everybody with a copy of the plans. What we're doing is we're working with Revere Steel out of Butler, Pennsylvania. It's going to be a metal building, insulated, standing seam metal roof. We're going to try and keep it, color it so it blends in with the existing building. So it'll be white and gray. We don't, as I said, we don't plan on putting any signage or anything like that. We don't intend to take on outside business. You know, we're not looking to repair trucks or anything like that there, other than our trucks and vans.
All right, one question, then we're going to ask the commissioners for their perspectives. But you envision operating out of this site, between normal working hours, which is to say like 8 to 5, 8 to 6, something like that.
Yes, yes. There is, occasionally we do emergency service, oil burners and things like that. There may be people in and out occasionally, but it's not constant. Pretty much the building shuts down after 5. Okay.
Let's go, turn it over to the commission. We'll start with Commissioner Prush.
I don't have any questions. I looked at it. Agree with Rob, there's still plenty of parking there. The addition is in the back of the building for Merritt Boulevard. And the storage pallets are actually between the main building and this addition. So, it's well sited, and I think the use is fine.
Okay, let's keep moving. We'll go to Commissioner Corey.
It's on the side of the building, am I correct?
Yes, if you're looking at the building from the street, it's on the right-hand side. The building's actually tilted a little bit in orientation to the road, so you won't see much of the building, and we're trying to make it blend in as much as we can.
And I assume it's within the side setback, right?
Yes.
Was there it's 6 out beyond the building, but I assume it's still within the side setback?
Yes. Yep. In the industrial zone, it's based off of building coverage.
Okay. What is the side setback? Just out of curiosity.
There is in the industrial zones, there's no side yard setbacks. There's only, there's just building coverage. You have to stay within the building coverage. So he has,
Really?
Yeah, he has 70% or 80% is allowed.
Wow. Sure there's no side setback?
Yep. Yeah, the industrial zones are funny like that.
Oh. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Cinto, you might have to
I see,
Go ahead.
yeah, I see no problem with the application whatsoever.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner D'Aquila.
Good evening, Mr. Wakely. Do you intend to heat and cool this area?
Yes, it's going to be hydronically heated. We're going to have an oil burner in the building.
And cooling?
No cooling.
Okay. That's all. Thank you.
Yep.
Just a couple more on my end. I'm not getting a good, and forgive me if I'm becoming, if it's, I'm getting too detailed, but I don't have a good sense of what it's going to look like. I mean, I see the ridged metal exterior. Do you have a color in mind? Does it,
Yes, the building now is basically gray and white. We're going to continue along with those colors, trying to make it blend in as much as we can.
Is there insulation?
Yes. The insulation package is for I've got it here. I just got to find it. Snow level for wind speed, live load closure.
I mean, I think
it's an R38 in the roof, R19 in the walls.
Thank you.
Yeah.
To be honest, that doesn't mean a heck of a lot to me, but I just wanted to know if it had it.
To the chair.
I'm sorry, is that Bill?
Yes, I have a couple questions.
Okay, I just had one other before, and then I'll turn it over to you. You're going to do maintenance on these vehicles. Are you going to have like an oil change bay like you would see at Jiffy Lube or anything like that? Beneath the surface?
No, not below the surface. The way they change the oil on the trucks now, it's a roll-in tray. It rolls underneath the vehicles. You drain the oil, you bring the tray back out, and you pump it out.
And
I don't anticipate we're not going to store large amounts of used motor oil on site.
Okay. Thank you. Bill?
Yes, I see you're heating the building. Do you have any plans for a restroom?
Restrooms we have 9 restrooms in the building now. We may add, it's on the plans, we may add a restroom adjacent to the entrance to the building at a future time.
How about floor drains in the building?
We have no floor drains in the building
How are you going to handle your oil?
with the catch basins and trays.
It's a repair facility, even though you're only repairing your own. So again, you need to get a miscellaneous industrial users general permit. So you'll need that step before we sign off on a permit.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill. Okay, so commissioners, I think, are satisfied with their questions. Let's ask the public if they have anything to say. We can start. Well, let's just throw it open and you can speak in favor or opposed at this point, if anybody is here to do that. Bill Chin, are you there?
Yep.
So there are a couple of raised hands. I don't know if you can see them.
I cannot see them.
Yeah, but we'll just have to wait. Maybe.
I can,
Thank you.
There he is. Bill, we're in the public comment portion of this meeting. So
Okay, so we've got 2 people who've raised, or 1 person's raised a hand. Phone number ending in 490. You may press *6 to speak.
somebody may need to mute here too. It might be Don Cinto.
Yep.
Okay, phone number ending in 490. You have to unmute, and then we're looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
And again, you may unmute by pressing *6.
That hand was raised since the outset of the meeting. So oh, here we go.
No, this is Attorney Stephen Bellis, not commenting on this application.
Thank you, Attorney Bellis. Do we have anybody else, Mr. Chin?
There's nobody else with their hand raised at this time.
I think you brought in Mr. Marcus. I don't know if he's here for that.
Hello?
Oh, there. Okay.
Okay. Marshall Marcus, 91 Stonehouse Road, speaking for myself and not for the Economic and Community Development Commission, but I'm speaking in favor of this application. In the last 2 years, the commission, and as a member, spent a lot of time with the corporate park, and anything that is going to help improve the tax return, the amount of space occupied, the amount of traffic for business purposes coming in there is a welcome thing to the economy of our town and our tax base. And this is just a good ancillary use and very much in favor of it.
Thank you, Mr. Marcus. Anybody else, Mr. Chin?
There's nobody else with their hand raised.
Thank you. Okay, so we've heard from the public, we've heard from the commission, and I think Attorney Cordone, we have to vote to close the hearing on this item.
Yes, please.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing. It's from Commissioner D'Aquila, seconded by Commissioner Corey. And then procedurally, we can either vote now or we can wait. Am I right, Attorney Cordone, until we get to a vote?
You should vote now to close the hearing. and then you should have a motion on the application.
Okay. So all in favor of closing the hearing?
Aye.
Don, are you in favor of closing the hearing?
Yep, yes, I am.
Thank you. That's 5-0. Now, does the commission feel as though it has enough information to vote? And if yes, I'll entertain a motion to
Tony
vote.
Silver,
Yeah,
could I suggest that we do it formally as a roll call? Unfortunately, Don is on what you call it, telephone.
yeah, we can do that.
Well,
Sure. No worries. So I would need a motion, and
I make a motion to approve the application.
thank you. Got it, Attorney Commissioner Corey, seconded by Commissioner DeQuilla. And at Commissioner DeQuilla's request, we'll do a roll call on it, and we'll start with Commissioner Prush. You're muted, sir.
See if there's any discussion, Mr.
Oh, I'm sorry. Discussion. Yes, of course.
Hang on. I was asking if this is, no, I have no further comments. on
Yes,
this.
just discussion on it. I'll make one point about,
It's,
yeah.
I was just going to say, no, it's again, I think it's well cited behind the building from Merritt Boulevard. It seems that it's an important use. I think it's well away from the yards, and they've got plenty of parking.
Thank you, Commissioner Prush. And I was just going to make the simple observation that the industrial park is we call it the industrial park, Trumbull Corporate Park, is in a period of transition. There is a study of that zone that came out probably within the last 8 or 9 months that reimagines what it can be and maybe ought to be. So this would play into that, right? I mean, to some extent. And the other side of that, perspective is what Marshall Marcus just told us. So that's just FYI from my perspective. So we've had a discussion from Commissioner Prush, and I just said that. Anybody else? All right, then let's call the vote. We'll go around the table. We'll start with Commissioner Prush.
Approved?
Commissioner Corey.
Approved.
Commissioner DeQuilla.
Quilla says approved.
Commissioner Cinto.
Approve.
And I approve. I vote in favor. So that's it. 5-0. Mr. Wakely, congratulations.
Well, thank you all very much.
Okay, next item on the agenda is item number 3. Well, Attorney Cordone, do you want to exit now, or do you want to wait until I describe it?
You could read the application. I'm recusing myself. I have a conflict of interest with the applicant. So Attorney Nugent will be handling this application. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everyone.
You too. This is 2157 Huntington Turnpike. The applicant is Moorefield Farms Development, LLC. Pursuant to Superior Court decision, a public hearing is to be conducted for the limited purpose of the Planning and Zoning Commission's evaluation and approval of 1, design standards and materials, and 2, the landscaping plan with respect to the previously approved site plan of 10 age-restricted housing units in an age-restricted housing zone. I want to be very clear here that we are not re-examining this application. It's been approved. That approval has been adjudicated by the court, and the court said we were within our regulatory authority to do it, and so we are not doing a general examination of that zone and that project. So it's just these 2 items. It's the building materials, and it's the landscape plan. Attorney Nugent, do you have anything you want to add to that? You're muted, sir.
Yeah, I was still on the last hearing there. No, I think you summed it up correctly. The original approval was affirmed on appeal by Judge Ratcliffe and remanded solely for the purpose of these 2 specific items you mentioned. That is all that's before the commission this evening.
Thank you, Attorney Nugent. And I guess Attorney Bellis, you're going to be presenting?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, but wait, I'm sorry. I went out of order here. I want to go to staff and see what where they're at.
Thank you. Yes, you should have all received the material showing the revised plans and the architecturals and the letter from the tree warden. So all the information should be submitted to you. You did receive a copy of, I believe, the court decision as well too a couple months ago. So I believe you all should be up to speed on the process and the materials as well too. Thank you.
Town Engineer, Mr. Marr?
No comment.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Commissioner.
Mr. Labranti said something that we all received the decision of the court. I didn't receive anything.
Well,
is there a memorandum?
I want to just say two things and I'll give it to Mr. Labranti. One, in last month's, in the March packet, we got voluminous materials about this. So I don't think that decision was part of those materials, but that if there's anything missing, it's that court decision and that's it. The materials are, there's a stack of them, so.
I understand, but are we not responding to that decision? So we need the decision in front of us so we know what we're responding to?
So I'll let Mr. Labranti speak to that and I'll let Attorney Nugent speak to that. I'm not sure we need to see that decision. We know what the decision was.
Well, I know Attorney Bellis and Attorney Nugent are up to speed and can summarize the court decision. But I believe that this has been going on for months and it's been material given almost every month leading up to this. So it should have been in your packet.
I'm afraid not.
Okay.
And I'm a little concerned that I don't have the decision, so I'm not too sure what we're voting on. Well, what are our criterias? And in addition to that, there was a letter from Mr. Grasso saying there's a memorandum of decision dated January 25th, 2021, and I don't have a copy of that either.
The same one.
Oh, it is. So can we not have the memorandum so we can look at it? Or is there a reason we don't have this?
I'm going to let Attorney Nugent speak to that, but what we know we have before us, ordered by the judge, is two things: to review the landscape plan and to review the building materials. We know that that's a fact. And so to get into whether you've read the court decision and the rationale behind that and the case law is probably a little bit peripheral to what we're doing tonight, but I'll let Attorney Nugent speak to that.
Well, all I can tell you right now is I made sure that I provided the decision to staff so that it could be circulated. But the decision was very clear that what this commission did previously on this application was correct. The judge affirmed that in all respects, except for two very specific items that were already read into the record: approval of the landscaping plan and approving of the design standards. Those are the two specific remaining items for this commission to review and decide whether they are in compliance with your regulations. That's it. And
so again, I'm requesting a copy of that memorandum. I really don't want to be blindsided on this.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Let's do this. I mean, this is a couple of things. I'm not going to change my mind about whether that legal decision is something that we need to act on these two agenda items. I don't think it is, but I'll ask the other commissioners what they think. Commissioner Prush, please.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, and I didn't have the memorandum either, but actually what is on the agenda is two things: evaluation and approval of design standards, which are listed on their site layout plan, and the landscaping plan with respect to previously approved site plan. That's it, those two things. There is a letter from Mr. Grasso that refers to the memorandum, and there are three things on it, you know, that he says he's complying with, but that's not what our agenda is tonight. If there needs to be further action by the board on any of these things, that's another, and requires a hearing, that's another meeting. That's different. These are the two things on the agenda. We can't just bring in things that are, not on it because we want to talk about it. That's my feeling.
Okay, well,
And that doesn't mean there's any final approval of anything. It just says these are the two things before us tonight.
thank you, Commissioner Prush. Commissioner D'Aquila, hold up for a second. I want to hear what Commissioner Corey says.
Well, it seems clear to the explanation of the decision by our attorney seems clear to me, so I don't really need any further clarification on that.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Cinto, do you have a perspective on this?
I agree with everything that Mr. Prush has to say, so I agree.
All right, Mr. D'Aquila, I'll give you last word here, but we're gonna go forward. That memorandum of decision from the court does not impact what we're doing tonight.
I think it does, Mr. Chairman. In his letter, Mr. Grasso's letter, his first sentence was, this letter pertains to the planning and zoning requirements, item number 3, number 4 on page 5, and item number 5 on page 6 of the memorandum of decision. And in the last paragraph, they speak to a revised landscape drawing. So it does.
All right, well, listen, your observations are noted, and I think the rest of the commission and the town attorney see it a little bit differently, so I'm gonna ask Attorney Bellis to proceed.
Mr. Chairman, I would
good
also
evening.
like to, Mr. Chairman, I would also like to state that I may submit an FOI on this.
That's fine. I mean, maybe that Mr.
I don't understand why we're in a rush.
We're not in a rush. It was continued, I think it was continued from last month.
But we didn't have anything. We didn't have the memorandum.
I will make a request of Mr. Lebrandi to send you the memorandum at his earliest convenience.
It's too late.
It's not too late.
No,
Like
if
the
I have
rest
to
of-
vote on this tonight,
Okay.
then it's going to be too late.
Well, you can, as a commissioner, you can certainly vote no, but the rest of us think we have what we need.
Okay.
Thank you. Attorney Bellis, proceed, please.
Yes, I apologize. I didn't get a link, so I'm doing this over my phone. So I just want to make sure you all can hear me.
Yeah, and it's going to be very important for you to be detailed.
Yes, I am. So as long as you can hear me, I'll start. So let me just start by.
Attorney Bellis, wait 1 second. Maybe we should read that letter.
I'm going to read to you the decision. I'm going to read to you the conclusion of the decision right now.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. So the judge, as everyone has stated, Judge Ratcliffe issued a decision. He approved the zone change and he approved the site plan. And he did remand this to the Planning and Zoning Commission for 2 purposes only. And I'm going to quote the conclusion. This is from his decision, and it states as follows. The matter is remanded to the Trumbull Planning and Zoning Commission with direction to evaluate and approve acceptable design standards and materials submitted by the applicant, and to consider a landscaping plan recommended by the Trumbull tree warden. Public input and a public hearing should be noticed and limited to the areas of inquiry germane to this remand. So I think both the lawyer and Rob Lebrandi has summarized what the court's decision was, and I just read it verbatim. So what we're here for is, again, simply, this is a site plan review, so you're acting in an administrative function, and you're going to determine whether these 2 items meet the requirements of the zoning regulation that we call in Trumbull the age-restricted zoning regulation.
Attorney Bellis, can I interrupt for a second, please?
Oh, sure.
I apologize.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how the rest of the commission feels about this, but unless you're prepared or somebody's prepared to show us in detail what these materials look like, I'm not sure what the value is of this presentation without seeing that. I mean, maybe the rest of the commission doesn't agree with me on this, but,
Well, what the design standards, that's why I was going to go to the regulations. They're spelled out in your regulations under the section 2.412. And that they're listed right in the regulation. What
We
the
have them,
design
and we have,
standards are.
like I said, we have a stack of plans that show these designs in detail, but
Yeah.
yeah.
No. These design standards, I did print them for you and summarize it. They're on the site layout, but they're also printed, and it says standards for design. Driveways will be asphalt. Walkway will be concrete. And I've listed 1 through 8. Finished grading. And do you have those so that you can see them? It's called design standards.
Yeah, I'm more interested in what the building materials are because I think that's what the landscape plan and the building materials are what the judge referred back to us. And you know what?
No, the judge wanted us to list the design standards on the plans, and we've done that. And the design, that's what he was concerned about, the design standards being on the site layout plan. They are listed now on the site layout plans. And I just had them blown up and put in a format so that you can all read it. There's only 8 of them in your regulations. So when you talk about the standards for design, the regulations themselves only list 8 things. The only particular material that they list in particular is siding. The exterior siding has to be at least 0.44 inches in thickness. And they talk about the colors and whether it's vertical or siding or shingles. Other than that, the design standards that the judge was referring to are those that are listed in 2.4.12. And that means that there's no above ground pools, signs can't be more than 4 inches, the building shall not exceed 2 stories, the driveways have to be asphalt, the walkways have to be concrete. Those are the 8 design standards that the judge was referring to. That was in your, that's right in the regulations, and that's what was not clearly spelled out. And so the judge wanted those listed on the layout on the site plan, and that's been done. The second thing the judge said was that there was a landscape plan last time. However, in the discussions, it was not clear that your tree warden had reviewed it prior to the meeting and recommended it to your board to approve. So now you have before you a letter from the tree warden, and that letter says that he has accepted the plan, the landscape plan. So the judge said he has to write a letter saying that he recommends it, and then the Planning and Zoning Commission can vote to approve it. Those were the only 2 items that the judge found was deficient in the first and original hearing. And so right now, you'll see that those design standards, the little block, is on the layout, is on the site layout, and I've also blown it up for you to review it. And you see the tree warden's letter dated April 20th, 2021, saying that he's reviewed the landscape plan of 3/9/21 and it's acceptable to him. So now that you have that information and it's presented in the quote application, you can vote to approve this application in full because it's before you. That was the issue that the judge had. Nothing other than that. So we're not here to discuss anything other than those 2 items that were deficient in the original application. They are no longer deficient. They are now presented before you. And so I think you have the ability to say, okay, they do now comply with our regulation, and we can approve the site plan as to these 2 remaining items. That's what the judge was concerned about.
I'm going to wait. Thank you, Attorney Bellis.
Yeah.
Let me just ask Mr. Lebrandi, do you, first of all, I'm reading the judge's decision right now, and it's on the last page of the decision, and it says, the site plan approval is affirmed in all respects except for the delegation of approval of design styles and materials. That does not say design standards from the zoning regulations should be, stamped onto the plans. It says something else, okay? That plus the fact that we got in the March agenda packet, we got, probably a 50-page stack of documents from Ken Martin, the real estate broker, and among other people, with design standards, with the design styles and building materials. So what you're saying is something different from what the judge said and from what the March packet said. So I want to understand from Mr. I'm sorry, let me finish. So I want to understand from Mr. Lubrandi's perspective and also Attorney Nugent's, what we're supposed to be reviewing tonight. Because if what the judge said, which is design styles, is what we're supposed to be reviewing. We have them here, but I don't know what the rest of the commission thinks, but I was expecting to be walked through them in detail. So go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, it's kind of a gray area there where you want to talk about the styles that match the characteristics in the neighboring area.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think our regulations probably discuss the materials. So they're saying that those materials that they're going to implement are going to meet the style of the area. So it's kind of one leading the other. So really, it's really dependent on, I believe, the commission of how they take it, because you need specific materials, again, to meet the style around the Nichols area. So it's really dependent on how you feel, really.
Attorney Nugent, do you have a perspective on this?
Well, yes. The problem last time around was that there was a delegation, as the judge mentioned in his decision you just read, of authority to staff to determine whether or not what was going to be built met the requirements of your regulation. That's not permitted. The Planning and Zoning Commission must make that decision. That's what the judge said. That's why he remanded it, number one, to determine that what has been presented meets your regulation, and that is the correct section 2.4 and the various subsections of it. So what you need to do is compare what 2.4, et cetera, says about the design standard to what has been submitted. If it meets the specifications of the regulation that specify the design standard, then it's met them, right? If it hasn't met them, that's what you need to decide. And I have read the tree warden's letter. He has approved the landscape plan. That seems pretty cut and dry, but there's standards in the regulation. You need to look at the standards and compare it to the plans. If they meet it, they meet it. And that's your decision to make, but it is an administrative decision. So if it meets it, it should be approved. If it doesn't meet it for a reason that can be articulated, then you need to say what that is and then make a decision.
Okay, thank you. I guess at this point, a couple of things. I'm going to ask the rest of the commission what they think about. So what we would have to do, I think, is close the public hearing and go into a work session and maybe vote tonight, maybe not vote tonight until we get a chance to review these documents in detail and compare them against the section of the regulations that Attorney Nugent just referred to. But if you're all comfortable with that, we do have plenty of material here. We're just not going to get a visual description of it from the applicant. Go ahead, Commissioner Corey.
I don't understand why it's not presented to us in a presentation. So we could, because if we have to review them and we have questions, normally the designs are all presented to us and explained. And if we have questions, we could ask them. How could we ask questions if there's no one here to answer them? I don't know why. I never heard of why the designer doesn't present them. I mean, we're explicitly told by a judge to review the standard, and somebody is going to, it's not common practice that the commission doesn't get presentation of the data. I've never heard that before. I don't know, what would, Attorney, what would be the reason that you don't want to present it? It would be like.
I do want to present it. I wasn't finished. Yeah.
Oh.
Which attorney were you asking?
I wasn't done.
Oh, okay. So he does.
I'm sorry, sir. Yeah, I'm not done yet. I just.
Are you planning on?
I wasn't done my presentation, sir.
Oh, but you plan on presenting tonight?
Yeah. Yes. I wasn't finished.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's the only question I had. Did you?
Okay.
Let's
Did
go
you
ahead.
anticipate that, Attorney Silber, that he was not done presenting?
I did.
No, I'm not done.
Well, let me just clarify Commissioner Corey's question, then we can proceed. I did not. You're on the phone, so I don't envision that you can actually make a visual presentation. So that's what I refer to, and I don't think I'm wrong on that. Now, before we'll let you continue, but Commissioner Prush raised his hand. I want to just ask him.
Hold on. Can I get? So you're saying you're going to make a presentation with no visuals?
He can't. So.
Excuse me, Tony Bellis, I sent you a link 10 or more minutes ago. You should have it in your email.
Oh, great. That would help. Yeah, because no one sent me a link. That was the problem.
I did forward that at least 10 minutes ago.
Okay.
All right, so I want to keep this on track. So Attorney Bellis says you're looking for that link. Commissioner Prush, quickly, what did you have to say?
Just quick. Well,
Mr. Chairman, Attorney Bellis, if you go to the town website, you can join this meeting on Zoom, and I will bring you in as participant.
Yeah,
I've done this many times. If I had the link, I would have been on. Let me see if I can do it. Here's the link. Okay. Yep.
Commissioner Prush, please go ahead quickly.
Yep.
Well.
Yep, I'm on. I'm on.
It's a bit confusing here because this is what it says. The agenda says evaluation and approval of design standards and materials and landscape plan. The design standards are on the drawing that probably referred to the regulation. There are 3 items on here that are materials: asphalt driveways, concrete walks, vinyl siding. Then I'm hearing about the memorandum that says that brings up the word style. I don't know what the definition here is of style. We saw lots and lots of elevations, plans, drawings in the initial thing, hearings, but it just seems there's some confusion as to what we are here tonight to approve. I'm not expecting a presentation, an architectural presentation of what these look like necessarily, even if they did submit, because I don't really see that on design standards or on the agenda that that's part of it. Now, maybe I'm wrong, and I'm fine if we're going to do that, but it seems to me that everybody's got a different idea of what we're supposed to be doing here, because I'm hearing 3 different things, and it's not clear what they mean. There's a list of construction specifications in our packet too, but that is not design standards. These have to do with foundations and decks and framing, and it's a specification.
You know what?
Not a style.
Well,
and it's not a design standard.
I just wanted to, the judge says, and I'm just reading verbatim, the judge says design styles and materials. It doesn't say design standards. The agenda item today says standards. So there might be some, miscommunication there. But,
exactly.
I'm going to let Attorney Bellis continue, but Attorney Nugent, if you think we're on the applicant and the commission are not on the same page, then let us know, because I was expecting a presentation. Because
counsel said he's going to make one.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so if you look at the judge's conclusion, and he states in the paragraph below that you're looking at, Mr. Prush and Mr. Silbert, it says the matter is remanded to the Trumbull Planning and Zoning Commission with the direction to evaluate and approve acceptable design standards and materials submitted by the applicant. Okay, so in what I was referring to earlier is what I call the design standards are set out very specifically in your regulation. In its note, it says right on the regulation, 2.4.12, standards for design. This is in the regulation. The commission may approve a site plan in connection with this zone if it complies with the requirements of these regulations and conforms to the following design standards. And they're listed, and there's 8 of them listed. And if you would like me to take you through them, I will. The site development standards, the first one says driveways. All driveways shall be asphalt, pea stone, brick, and/or stone. We have indicated on our standards for design that the driveways will be asphalt. So that complies with number 1 of your design standards. Number 2, it says walkways and stoops. This is in your regulation. All walks and stoops shall be brick, flagstone, stone, wood, or concrete. We've indicated that we're choosing concrete. So that complies with the regulation number 2. Number 3 talks about finished grading. The house should be backfilled, and I'm kind of summarizing, 4 inches of compact loam or topsoil shall be put around the foundation. And you see that we put that as our number 3. Number 4 in your regulation talks about, these are design standards, pools and tennis courts. All pools and tennis courts should be screened, blah, 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 blah. Well, we don't have any pools or tennis courts, and I've said that in the design standards. No above ground swimming pools permitted. Mailboxes, trash containment areas is number 5 in your design standards. Mailboxes, trash, and others shall be effectively shielded to de-emphasize their presence. And so that's what we said. We'll do, that's exactly what we say in our design standards. Number 6, signage. I'll paraphrase it. You can't have letters more than 4 inches. You can only have temporary real estate signs, blah, blah, blah. So we have listed that under number 6, and we copied it exactly as what your regulation says. Number 7, no building shall exceed 2 stories or 40 feet in height. We said that our buildings will not exceed 2 stories or 40 feet in height. The next one is number 8. It says siding. I'll read that one out loud. Acceptable exterior surface treatments are red or white cedar clapboard. This is your regulation. Red or white cedar shingles, brick facing, field stone, vertical cedar, redwood siding, high grade vinyl siding, at least 0.44 inches in thickness. And then it lists unacceptable materials. You can't have composite board, you can't have dry vit, blah, blah, blah. You can't have aluminum siding. So now if you look at our standards for design, it says we will use exterior high-grade vinyl, at least 0.44 inches in thickness, and brick or fieldstone facing permitted. Red or white cedar clapboard or shingles and vertical cedar redwood siding are permitted. So we've listed it. Those were the regulations. Those are the design standards that are in your regulation. There's 8 of them. And those 8 is what are the design standards that we have now included on the site plan itself. There is also in your regulation restrictions, and that's under same section, but letter B. You can't have trucks or commercial vehicles stored on any of the properties. That's in your regulation. We wrote, no trucks will be parked or stored on the common ground. You can't have livestock except usual pets. We put no livestock or pets, except for pets. I'm sorry about that. No burning of garbage. That's in your regulation. We put no burning of garbage. That's in our design standards. All construction and site improvements shall conform to the underlying zone. That's what we wrote. All units shall be restricted for residents that are at least one person 60 years old. And that we already have that. We listed that as well. You can't have people that are younger than that unless a spouse dies. So every single matter that is listed in 2.4.12, which your zoning regulations call standards for design, are the standards for design that are now put on the site layout plan, and I've also highlighted them for you. So that is what the judge asked us to do, and that's what we've complied with. Now, some of you were referring to the site plan is affirmed at all except for the delegation of the approval of the design styles and materials to be used to the Trumbull staff. As your attorney pointed out, you can't delegate that to staff. This commission has to make that determination. If we've met the design standards, then you have to approve it. You can't ask staff to review it for you. I think where the confusion is coming in, maybe under this section called 2.4.1. And it says in your regulations that the purpose and intent of this zone is to allow elderly members of the community to have housing. But the next sentence says, all such elderly housing will be provided so that all such housing shall be developed in a fashion that is generally consistent with housing patterns in the town and will maintain the general character of the neighborhood in which it is located. That was a part of the regulation. And so I want to address that now. And so this project and what you've received are, and all that you've required in your zoning regulations are three things: a typical floor plan, a typical elevation, and the design standards that I just went through one by one, so I'm not going to do that again. So in your regulations under section D of 2.4.10, you can approve the zone change, which it's already been approved, if we provided preliminary building plans that have a typical floor plan and typical elevations. So we've done that, and so what you have in front of you all are the building elevations and typical floor plans.
I don't even have a D in that. I'm sorry to interrupt, but Rob, maybe you can clarify. There's that 2.4.1, according to the zoning regulations on the town website, don't even have a D.
No, 2.4, if you look at 2.4.10 has a D. 2.4.10. It says application for zone change approval. And these are the things that you had to include in order to get the zone approval. And D was the preliminary floor plans. You see that?
That's 2.4.10. Okay.
Yeah. So those have been provided, but we don't need to discuss that because the zone change was already approved. That maybe that's where the confusion lays. But those were provided to you, the typical floor plans, the typical elevations, and these design standards that I just went through. The only thing that was deficient, as I was trying to say earlier, with the design standards were not specifically spelled out on the site plan map, but now we've done that. So I don't have to take you through the floor plans and the elevations. You've already approved this zone change for that. So the only other comment that I think why you saw Ken Martin's letter was that these homes, we were trying to show you that the homes are consistent with housing patterns in the town and will maintain the general character of the neighborhood. I think you've already dealt with that, but if you did not, we gave you Ken Martin's letter, and Ken Martin's letter simply says that there are quite a few different types of homes, colonials, more modern, some ranches and capes, so that there's kind of a diverse type of housing in Trumbull and also in Nichols. And that these homes that are proposed, as you see in your elevation plans and the floor plans, are consistent with these kinds of housings. What does that mean? Well, these are not the types of homes that are going to, be any different than what you would normally see in Nichols or the town of Trumbull. So I think that you probably already considered this in your decision when you approved the zone change, but I just wanted to make sure you all had his letter and had an understanding that there are a variety of types of homes in Nichols, and these houses would be consistent with those. But that's not what that's there only for your help as far as talking about the purpose and intent of the zone change.
Okay.
It's not what the judge ordered.
Thank you, sir. I think that, okay, Don, could you mute, please? I think there's like random noise coming from your phone that's distracting me and probably the rest of the commission plus of the attorneys. *6, Don. Okay. Did you want to finish up, Attorney Bellis? Because I think there's a legitimate room for understanding what the judge is saying that's different from what you're saying. I think he's saying the general character of the neighborhood. Now, I will add that what Ken Martin and you as the applicant submitted to us is like, it has plenty of detail. You talk about the framing, you talk about the siding, you talk about the doors and the molding, the porches, the foundation and fireplace, the utilities, custom homes. So there's plenty of material here for us to review. It's more than enough, but it's just, so in my opinion, my expectation was, you know, we're gonna actually see it. We're gonna see a picture of a gray building, a design plan, you know, so that might be just a disconnect on my part, but I'll let the rest of the commission speak to that too. There's more than enough material here to figure out what you're doing.
Okay, good.
But in my view, what the judge said for us to do and what you're saying for us to do are two different things. But I'm not a lawyer, so you know.
Chairman, I have a question.
Let's go to Commissioner Corey, Attorney.
Hi, Commissioner.
So, am I to understand that we've already, during our approval, we've already reviewed and approved the buildings? We saw them, they were presented to us, and that Judge Ratcliffe just wanted the rules or the guidelines on what you designed and we approved stated in the application, and you didn't, there's no changes from what we've visually looked at and approved. It's just that the words that you just stated were not written in the application, and they needed to be written in there as a verbal verification that your plans meet our regulation.
That is correct. I did not have the standards for design that I went through one by one with you. They were not literally on the site plan. They are now.
So Chairman Silver, so I'm understanding that there's nothing different about the plans that we've all seen and reviewed, but for some reason they weren't documented. Those rules weren't documented in the application that were taken out of our regulation, and the judge felt that they had to be in the application. Even though they're in our regulation and it met our regulation, he felt that they should be written in the application. And that's what we're proving, that they copied the words from our regulation into their application, essentially. That's
Well,
what
that might
you're
be
saying?
part of, yeah, I understand what you're saying, and that might be part of what the judge intended, but I think the judge did not want us to defer final approval of design standards to staff. He wanted us on the record saying, this is what we want. And to your point, if we already said that, then that should factor into the decision.
If we approved the plans already, that means,
yeah.
What did we defer then? I don't know what we would have deferred.
I think you deferred.
It was delegated, but go ahead.
Yeah, delegated. He wanted, there was just a little disconnect on the landscape plan. We had given you a landscape plan. However, your regulations are very specific, and it says you have to give the landscape plan to the tree warden first, and he has to write a letter to the commission saying he's reviewed it and he recommends it, and then you can act on it.
So the only thing we deferred was
delegated is the better word.
Yeah, delegated is the better word.
The only thing that we delegated was the landscape plan approval to the
and the standards for design.
But the standards were just.
I don't think he's.
We
just saying
couldn't have
standard.
delegated standard for design. How could we have if we approved the plans to a standard? I don't understand how we delegated that.
There must have been something in our vote, and maybe Rob, I don't know if you have the actual text of the decision that we voted on whenever it was last fall, or 2 falls ago. But there must have been something that we said a final approval of, and Attorney Bellis, I don't think I'm seeing it the same way you are, and maybe I'm wrong, but he's talking about materials and styles. So he's not talking about the 8 design standards that you mentioned. Or maybe he is, maybe that's part of what he's saying, but there's another part that's like, he wants us on record saying that we're good with the styles and with the materials. And there must have been something in that original approval where we said, we're going to leave it to staff to decide the final.
That's what you did, Commissioner. There was talk in there was language when you were going back and forth about, well, the applicant can go see Rob later about such and such a thing, and you can't do that.
Understood. And Commissioner Prush, I see you with your hand up. I just want to make so if he's saying that we have to do that, how do we do it without, well, I don't know. I mean, I think there's enough here for me, but I'm not seeing a nice colored layout and design and everything. But I mean, it comes down to what the other commissioners feel as well. Commissioner Prush, go ahead.
Well, yeah, I was going to, because I have the minutes of that meeting. And what it says, motion made Prush, second and Cinto to amend original motion to include that applicant must submit 4 different design styles indicating with some detail the materials to be used and submitted to staff for review and approval in accordance with the Town of Trumbull Regulation Article 2, Section 2.4.1. So that's what I think we're referring to. Now, I can't say that I know what the judge did with that. Sounds like he said, well, you can't go back to staff to do that. That is under the purview of the commission. Okay. He has submitted 4 different plans here today. But I think that's what we're talking about, and I'm still, because I'm Chairman Silber is reading from the memorandum that talks about style, I think mentions style and standards, if I were style and materials. I'm hearing from Attorney Bellis standards, which again, if it's in our regulation, I mean, that's it. It's not something they came up with. It's already established, so it would never go back to staff to review because they're meeting a regulation with those, which is what they're doing. So I'm still confused a little bit as to what we're really doing here. I mean, we did see at length, renderings, plan elevations, plan at the time.
Sounds like
these are really materially different.
The details weren't there, and we approved it with an option for the staff to review the details, and we have to review them. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I think what they did is they submitted some plans and elevations from another project as examples. And maybe what we were asking was, well, don't just take what you did over in Shelton here. Show us what you're doing here on this particular site.
Did you read that memorandum, Commissioner Prush?
No, I never got the memorandum, so I really.
You're referred to in the memorandum talking about that Shelton development by name. You're referred to, but go ahead. He is. He's referred to by name for talking about the Shelton. This to make it look like Shelton.
Oh, that it might be because I said it in the meeting.
I know.
Right, you did.
And I'm just then going by the minutes that we talked about it, and the amendment then was to have them submit.
Look,
designs to staff.
Yeah.
We
should review. I'm just saying we should review. We should review the final design.
It has to got kicked back to us.
Correct. Mr. Corey is correct. You can't refer stuff like that.
Okay.
Delegate that to staff. So I have resubmitted everything to this commission. We've given you plenty of We gave you specifications of
We
what
need
the
to have it
materials.
presented to us.
But can I just finish?
Yes, sir.
What we're talking about goes beyond design standards. He's submitted these 4 plans, and it sounds like, and I think I agree with Commissioner Corey on this, that a presentation of the 4 designs or some nature is what the judge is referring to and what may be called for here, even though it's only saying design standards and materials on the agenda. This isn't design standards because he's already listed the design standards. They're in the regulation. This is something that we wanted to see. What are you building here?
He's the judge's.
I'd like to make a motion that we continue this hearing and have a presentation of the
We
materials.
really need more order here. We can't be talking all over each other. So
No, I'm done. I think but I'm just trying to clarify through, and I think where we are is that we should be seeing a presentation, according to the judge, of the designs, that it can't be up to staff to review. It's back in the commission.
And that approval required them to present 4 designs to staff, 4 different design alternatives?
Well, that's what we asked for. I'm not sure what the judge was saying, but even if it's 3 designs, I think what the judge is referring to is the style of the proposals, because that's what the submission by Ken Martin was talking about, is all these different houses in Trumbull they're relating to. Attorney Bellis is talking about a variety of different kinds of houses here.
Yeah, the judge
relates. So, yeah.
The judge, thank you, Commissioner Prush. The judge tied what Attorney Bellis appropriately read from the regulation about the character of the neighborhood, character of the community, Nichols in this instance. He tied that to design materials, standards, and styles. All 3 of those words are explicit in that decision. So, to me, I mean, we do have lots of material here. We have very detailed indications of what you intend to do, but we do not have a presentation A, and I don't see any 4 alternatives for.
Yeah, if you can, I don't know how to do it, but if you can have AJ Grasso, he's been trying to get in. He's the person who's going to make that presentation for you right now.
Okay,
great, that's fine.
I don't know how to do that, sir.
Mr. Grasso is on his way in.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have the ability to bring up the plans that I submitted, Rob, Mr. Labrandi? I submitted 4 different front elevations, 4 sets of plans.
Yep, for on the flash drive.
Yes.
Linda, those are on the those are on the town website, right?
Yeah, they were on the town website.
Yeah, they're listed with the agenda on the town website. I don't have the flash drive with me. That's back in the office.
Yeah, I don't have the flash drive with me right now. Let me see if I could. Let's see.
Mr. Grasso, were those materials submitted in paper form to the commission?
They were submitted in paper form and they were submitted on a flash drive.
Well, then all the commissioners should have those in their package somewhere. I don't know what they look like, or they could be identified, but.
If they have them.
Yeah, we have.
About this. These architectural sketches.
Yes.
Okay.
Did all the commissioners see what Commissioner Silver held up?
No, not
so
really.
you can find them?
There are 4. There's the Harris.
We need it presented to us. We can't be
There's
looking
the
at
red-tailed hawk. There's the marsh hawk. It's 4 different styles. I don't know.
I mean, if they can't present it, how could we? If they can't be presented by the presenter, how could we look at it?
Excuse me. The reason I submitted this on a thumb drive is I was under the assumption that they would be brought up so that they could be.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Seen.
No, that was for us to upload that into the town web, to the agenda to be submitted into the record. So I'm trying to pull it. I'm trying to pull up the agenda, and then I'm gonna, if possibly, I could share that. And I could share those pictures.
If you can share them, then I can walk you through them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A little harder when we're in person, obviously, it's a lot easier.
Yeah, definitely. Also, I was expecting color. I mean, I'm willing to try and get this done because that's what you want, but that doesn't really give me a good idea as I might have wanted to see what those houses, they look attractive and there's lots of detail around them. But anyway, that's just my take. Yeah, but I'd like to see a presentation.
Okay, if you'd like, I can start here. This is a 2-story colonial style house. It has both vertical and horizontal cedar siding. It has a board and batten look over the garage. If you look in the upper right-hand picture, there's a metal roof over the garage overhang. And we'd be using metal roof as well over the front porch. The front porches have flagstone on them. They have flagstone steps or treads, and either stone or brick toe kicks, and the face of the underneath the front porch would also have stone.
And those metal roofs are a notch up from just regular architecture, am I right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And the cedar, is it like when you describe cedar, what do you mean?
Well, it's not. I'm not sure if I said cedar. It's a vinyl horizontal clapboard on the right-hand side of that unit, underneath the front porch and above the front porch. It's a horizontal vinyl siding product. There's crown heads over the windows and the garage doors.
What are the colors of it?
The colors are going to be what the people decide to choose them to be. They could be anything from white to a gray. Most of you seeing is white, gray, a little darker gray. We haven't used any, we haven't used any colors I think that would be offensive to anybody. I'm ultimately not the one who determines the final color of these houses. Okay. My buyers determine the final front elevation. All these homes end up being custom homes before they're done. We're using extremely high-end products inside and out. These houses, I built this house a half a dozen times or more here in Shelton. They no problem selling them. They're spacious. They seem to be just what the people want. A color rendering. This is exactly what we build these houses off of. This is the plan that's submitted generally to the town for building permits.
All right. Well, so that's one of them. Let's see the other ones, please.
Sure.
Thank you.
A little different style, this house. The front gives you a colonial flair to it. The back, if you look at the back on the top right-hand corner is the rear elevation. That is more of a cape. This particular unit happens to have a master bedroom on the first floor. Again, we're using board and batten vinyl siding on the right-hand side. We did not put shutters on this house because what we've done is we've oversized the crown molding and the trim around the windows. And again, in this one, we happen to have a metal roof over the front porch and the garage. Same thing, the same products on the front porch. All of these houses have front porches that are approximately 5 to 6 foot deep front to back and about 20 foot wide. So if somebody wanted to set a couple chairs out there or some decorations, some ornaments, something to do, some plants, it's got a nice look to it.
Where is that porch? Oh, it's on
the front. It's right underneath that roof there that you see.
Yep, got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is another home that's gives you a colonial look from the front, a Cape Cod look from the back. It has a master bedroom suite on the first. Another front porch. This one has it's done the same way with the board and batten siding on the garage with a window over the top and crown heads and columns on the front porch.
Can I ask why, is it just a preference why you have vertical and horizontal? Is that just to make it
It's kind of the trend. That's where people are going. A lot of the people I'm working with right now, that's what they want. They want more of a little of like a farmhouse colonial style. They like the board and batten. It's kind of the Westport look. Most of the people now are trending towards white and, you know, a lighter gray siding.
Okay, thank you.
That's very common, Commissioner Corey. I see that a
Okay,
lot.
yeah, thank you. I just didn't know that.
Okay, last one, I think, one more.
There we are again. This is another, this is a 2-story colonial. It's got 3 bedrooms upstairs. This particular unit happens to have a staircase off the family room, which people seem to like. Again, we've used some board and batten siding. We brought it up 2 separate gables, and in the center as well above the front door on the 2nd floor, board and batten, and then board and batten on the front porch. And again, one of the things that I like to do with this is that if, say, there's 2 people that want this particular style of home, a lot of times what we'll do is we'll change the gable layout, we'll change the siding detail so that maybe they don't have board and batten over the garage. Maybe they just have board and batten on the front porch. So that my plan is to have each one of these fronts look different than any other one on the street.
I think one of the conditions of approval was that you weren't going to have consecutive same design houses.
Yeah, that's not a problem. They won't be the same. The front elevations will not be the same.
Can I ask you also, like, I know these are the same buildings, it's the same house, different view. Is that the distance apart these buildings are going to be?
No. No, these units, they're going to meet your standards. They're going to be a minimum of 30 feet. I think now with the loss of one of the homes, I think we're anywhere from 31 feet to, I'm looking at the plan, we've got at least a couple of units that are 41 feet apart. So there's more than twice the separation that I have at Hawks Ridge and Shelton.
Thank you. Do you want to give us just a quick overview of of an interior? Maybe just one is fine. That might be fine. And then I want to ask.
Sure. Can we slide up? I'd like to bring you up. Can you go up one? I'd like to bring you through one with a master bedroom on the 1st floor.
And
So
you're going to
let me,
have to zoom in on that because I can't see it. It's like really hard to see. But
Sure,
then
you
after
want to-
that, could you do the construct? You have 3 pages of construction specifications. I just want to go through that real quick for the commission as well.
Okay. So this particular unit has a master bedroom on the 1st floor. As you can see, that master bedroom is 14.5 foot by 16 foot. There's a large walk-in closet. There's a large bathroom, large master bathroom with, if you come down a little bit, with sinks on opposite sides. So they have their own sinks and vanities. There's a 4 foot by 4 foot tiled shower with a shower door. There's a large linen closet. And then the toilet is tucked into its own little room. If you come back out towards the kitchen and dining room are wide open into each other. There's quite a large area there. And if you can bring your cursor to the front door, if you walk in the front door and look straight ahead, you're looking through the foyer, family room and dining room. It's wide open, about 40 feet deep, out to the patio. The stairs are kind of tucked away to go to the 2nd floor. And if you were to go now to the 2nd floor, so if you scroll down a little bit, this particular unit has what's equivalent of a 2nd master bedroom upstairs, because when you build a house with a master bedroom on the 1st floor, you end up with a very large 2nd floor. So there's the ability to have 2 master suites if somebody really wanted one, if you had an aging parent, or we probably have a half a dozen of that situation here at our development. Then there's another bedroom on the back with a walk-in closet, bedroom number 2. And then there's an office in the front. So if somebody's working from home, they have a place to work there. In regards to the interior specs, let me just pull up what I actually submitted. So I can go through without that. So what we're using is for the specs, the exterior construction of the house is 2x6. We use zip sheathing, which is a higher end exterior sheathing that has tape. It's taped in all the seams. It prevents air infiltration. One of the things that we do that almost no other builder around is doing that none of our ductwork in any of these units enter a non-conditioned space. So we have no ductwork in the attic, so that you're not blowing hot air through you're not blowing hot air through a 40-degree attic in the winter, and you're not blowing cold air through a 135-degree attic in the summer. However, our windows are very high. They have a high energy efficiency rating. The all granite countertops, granite and quartz. There's again, our master showers have frameless shower doors on them. There's a pretty significant tile allowance in our plans. Generally, almost all of the floors in the house end up being hardwood. Open railings for the stairs.
9 foot ceiling.
9-foot ceilings on the first floor, 8-foot ceilings on the second floor. They all have full basements. We use a 7.25-inch baseboard on the first floor, which is 2 inches taller than most contractors are using. We use a 5.25 base on the second floor. The window casing is 3.5-inch casing. We generally crown mold the dining rooms. The family room we normally crown. The people have options to upgrade their kitchens. These all end up baseline. I end up building custom homes, basically. We're very, very involved. I'm involved with the design work. I see this from start to finish with every buyer.
Gas fireplaces, but not wood fireplaces?
Gas fireplaces. There's very few wood fireplaces being put in now. There's less people that they don't want the smell. They don't want the dirt. They also don't want to, the soot. They don't want to have, once as it's shutting down, you're now letting cold air into your house the rest of the night. These fireplaces, this gas fireplace would actually heat this entire unit. One of the things we do from an energy efficiency standpoint that most builders aren't doing, I'll give you a little background on energy efficiency if you have 1 minute. The people that are moving in here are likely to be moving in from a house that might be 20, 25 years old. So if they're moving from a house that's 25 years old, if it was built to the state energy standard 25 years ago, it would have what they call a HERS rating, which is how they rate energy efficiency, of about 135. If this house was built 10 years ago to the state energy code, it would have a HERS rating of 100. Now, the lower the HERS rating, the more efficient a home is. If they built it to Energy Star, it'd have a HERS rating of about 85. When we get through with these units that we're building, these will be the same, no different. We'll have a HERS rating of somewhere in the low to mid 50s. Houses are extremely, extremely energy efficient. Trying to think if I'm missing anything else.
So
again, the front.
So siding is vinyl in every instance.
Actually, what's happened is a lot of the people, as we're doing this, they decide to put a stone veneer around their front door and across the whole front patio. Some people have put stone. If you want to go to a front elevation, I can kind of give you an idea what some people are doing. So on that right there so just to the right of your cursor, that whole area where you see the board and batten siding, I would say in this development, probably 1 out of every 3 or 4 houses have some type of a stone detail in that area. They also bring the stone detail sometimes at the window height right across the garage door. So when you're looking from the street, you have stone on either side of the garage doors. So there's a lot of, people, they want to downsize, but they don't want to give up the nice things. So they like stone. They want it. They're not going to move from a house into a house that has a smaller master suite than the one they live in. And they still want to have room for their grandchildren and their family.
So is vinyl the housing, the siding choice, siding material of choice these days now? Or is it, because I see a lot of mold on the vinyl siding?
Well, what happens is in certain houses, the mold, a lot of times you'll see on the north side of houses, whether it's vinyl or not vinyl, you'll see mold growing. One of the issues is that people truly want maintenance free, especially now with the escalating lumber prices and siding prices. It's still it's more affordable. There's less, as long as you're willing to power wash this house every 3 or 4 years, it's going to look clean forever.
Does the housing association take care of that?
No, it's not. That won't be part of the HOA. But generally, what I found is that most people take care of their houses, especially when they have this kind of investment in them. One of the things that I've done here and we do elsewhere is generally when this project is finished, we'll probably go through and power wash everything because during construction, there's dust and debris. So when we're all done, everything will be clean and then it'll be up to them to continue that.
All right, well, let me just take the pulse of the commission and see if they have any questions. We can start with Commissioner Prush since you're on the bottom of my screen here. You got any questions so far, or
no, I don't have any questions. I have some comments that I can make later, but no questions. No, I understand what he's.
Commissioner Corey?
No, I don't have any questions. Thank you for that presentation.
Yes, thank you. Commissioner D'Aquila, you got any questions at this point?
Yes, one question. It's on the standard for design of 2.4.12 in our regulations, and that's section A5. It says mailboxes, trash containers, areas shall be effectively located and shielded to de-emphasize their presence.
Can I just interject there? I think that might be a little bit afield of what the judge told us to do. He mentioned building materials and styles. So,
as I said, I don't have that memorandum.
Well, listen,
I do not feel comfortable participating in this because the chair refuses to give me a copy. And
listen, Attorney,
continue. Could I please continue?
No, Commissioner D'Aquila, I don't want to get derailed on this. We're here almost at 2 hours here. Well, you can ask your question and get it answered, but then we're going to proceed and let's just stick to what we're required to do.
Well, our standards for design says, as I said, the mailboxes and trash containers shall be de-emphasized in their presence.
We covered this in the first hearing 2 years ago. Go ahead. Finish, please.
I do not see a trash container anywhere in this drawing, which is dated March 4th, 2021, called the site layout. In a mailbox, I think there's a small mailbox at the cul-de-sac, but I'm not too sure if that's the mailbox for the entire community. And
I can answer the. If I can answer the question in regards to the mailbox. We're probably going to be required to have one mailbox for the 10 units. So that is the mailbox for the development. And the trash containers will be just as required in your regulations, will be out of sites.
Where are
There'll be individual ones per each unit. There's not going to be, this isn't an apartment building. There's not going to be an outside dumpster.
And does the United States Post Office go down private roads?
Yes.
They do. Okay, that's all I have to say.
Commissioner D'Aquila, appreciate it. Commissioner Cinto, you have anything for us? You're going to have to unmute. Don? You're muted. You're going to have to unmute. All right. I'm going to go to the public hearing part of this, but Dave Prush, you had said you have some observations, and just maybe you want to make them now before we go to the public comment, please.
Okay. Well, what I was going to say is one of the things that Mr. Grasso is stressing here that I think we should understand is that these are custom houses. And what he's trying to show us is a theme, a general theme of consistency in the development. But within that theme, there are many, what I can see is many options of details, options of exterior materials, siding, stone, colors, things like that. So there are many opportunities to make these varied, a variety where no one, you don't have units that are looking the same. And just a comment about fireplaces. Yeah, seniors don't want wood burning fireplaces. They all put in gas, but and that's a nice touch too. But I think the thing he's stressing here is it's impossible to say exactly what they're going to be, but within what he's showing, I think there's enough here to see that there's a theme of consistency and quality that he's trying to put into these units. And within that is where, with his guidance, I think potential buyers will make decisions. So that's my observation.
Attorney Nugent, please.
Yeah, I just want to make the observation that I think it is appropriate, and I recommend that the commission, if you're going to vote tonight, that you reach a conclusion and make findings that the plans do comply with the standards for design. And if it's your decision that you do reach a conclusion that what you have seen for style is consistent with the general neighborhood, if that's your decision, right? That's what the judge wants you to retain as your own authority and not delegate, in addition to the landscape design approval. So that's what I'm recommending that you make a finding about.
Thank you. We will make that explicit in a motion if we get to that. Okay, let's, you know what, before we go to the public comment, we might want to walk through, and Rob Brandy, I'm going to ask you to just take us through this. There was a letter from the tree warden. Can you just give us the, the most relevant points on it for the record at this meeting?
Yeah, there was a letter written by the tree warden stating that it was just one sentence that, Dear Linda, I reviewed and of the revised plan dated 3/9/21, that it is acceptable. Very truly yours, Warren Jakes. So it's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, like sample question: Are the trees along the front, the evergreens, still there? I mean, okay. All right.
Yeah, there is no modifications were made since the original approval. So I think what you stated previously at that last meeting was that those trees stay in the front over there.
All right, commissioners, before we go to the public, do you have any comments on the landscape plan?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. With
Fire
regard
away.
to the landscape plan, the tree warden wrote 4 separate letters to the commission. One was dated November 13, 2019. Another one was March 23rd of 2021, March 24th of 2021, and April 20th of 2021. 4 separate letters. And the verbiage was, at the first letter had a lot of verbiage, and at the very end was just a single sentence. We seem to have lost our bond requirement of $175,000. And in addition to that, the tree warden in 3 of the 4 letters say that the final plan to be submitted shall be subject to his review.
Okay.
And the final version does not contain that. I am confused as to why there are 4. Is Warren Jakes available to be cross-examined?
First of all, we don't cross-examine our town staff. That's not their purpose.
I think we do.
Well, you're entitled to that opinion.
You're right.
But doesn't make it so.
I have questions of him. That's
Rob, so just taking the most recent letter, that is his approval. I mean,
that is his signed written approval.
And Attorney Nugent, is that, from your perspective, is that final letter sufficient, given what we discussed in the past? And we did spend a lot of time on the landscape plan in the initial application. Is that what the judge wants?
Well, the judge wants this commission to make a determination that your regulations have been met. So you need to refer to your regulation if that is an approval of the landscape plan, which you've already reviewed in detail. I believe that's what you need to have in hand under your regulation in order to approve it. That's what you did not have last time. You did not have a final approval from the tree warden It was conditional. He's now given a final approval.
Okay.
And that's
Thank
how I
you.
interpret it. And that's what your regulation requires, a final approval. You can then conclude, okay, the tree warden has given a final approval. We've seen the landscape plan. Now we know that he says it's approved without conditions.
Thank you. Everybody good? Commission? All right, let's open it to public hearing, Bill.
Sure. If there's anybody from the public who'd like to speak, you may raise your hand, and I'll bring in Mr. Marcus and Ms. Schrader.
Somebody needs to mute.
Hello?
Changes in public events.
Who's up, Marshall? Is that you?
I'm here.
All right, go ahead. State your name and address for the record, please.
Okay, Marshall Marcus, 91 Stonehouse Road. Again, speaking for myself and not for the Economic and Community Development Commission. I have followed this development from the beginning and have supported it, but I pay attention to all details. And this was sent back to the commission. And as I've read the letter, the memorandum, heard you reading from it, and it dealt with standard. And I listened to every word Attorney Bellis said. And he talked about copying the standards enumerated in 2.4.12, and he read them aloud and said he put them on his list of plans to show they're meeting the standards. But he changed one standard. When he talked about commercial vehicles and read that they're not allowed on the property, what he copied onto this application was they wouldn't be allowed in the common area. Well, I'm sorry, our regulations in a residential zone don't let you have a commercial vehicle sitting in your driveway. It's a major problem in my neighborhood now that I make complaints about, and I don't want to see it there. It's not a matter of whether it's on the common area of the street, that dead end cul-de-sac. It doesn't belong out in the driveway. And he's not using apples to apples when he changes the words of the standard. And that's what he said, and I wrote it down when he was speaking. And if somebody were to play the recording, they will find there's a difference in what he said. So the commission needs to see that what's on the plan actually meets the standard and not his new standard.
Well, I mean, so I think we default to the regulation there, and the regulation clearly says no trucks or other commercial type vehicles shall be stored or parked on any lots or common ground. So
Well, I know, but he delineated only to the common areas. So he's trying to slice the standard a little differently. And if you approve a plan that's saying the standard is different than what the town standard is, that's my issue. It should be identical words.
Thank you, point taken. We can ask.
That's the only thing. Otherwise, I like the plan. But I don't.
All right, wait, hold up. Attorney Bellis, you can speak after the. Thank you, Marshall. Thank you. So we will make it a condition of approval that it adheres exactly and precisely to the regulation.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Let's continue with the public comment, and Attorney Bellis at the end, if you have anything that you want to respond to, particularly that.
Yeah, I will. I'll wait till the end.
Yeah, wait till the end. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Who's up?
Beth Schrader, 2110 Huntington Turnpike. I'd like to commend Commissioner Prush on his comments regarding the architecture of the buildings. On March 20th, I think it was 2019, I attended a meeting. I've attended all the meetings. And this was not a public meeting, but Commissioner Prush made the comment that we really do not want a Hawks Ridge brought to the Nichols area. And as far as I can tell, Marsh Walk, Broadwing, Red Tail Hawk, and the Harris are the exact same single family models up at Hawks Ridge. And, you know, I looked at all of the specs. They seem to be to replicate Hawks Ridge. And I just don't think that those homes are in keeping with the style of and the general neighborhood of Nichols. And my recommendation would be for staff to go up to Hawks Ridge and look at those models. I believe what Commissioner Pruse was suggesting at that time was for the applicant to come up with 4 different models. And these models are the exact same models at Hawks Ridge.
Thank you for that observation.
You're welcome.
Are you finished?
Yes, I'm all set.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Moore is the next speaker.
Okay. State your name and address for the record. You're on mute, I think, still.
Okay. So, Eileen Moore, 400 Booth Hill Road. I came across these guidelines from the American Petroleum Institute, and specifically, it showed pictures I sent to Mr. Lebrandi to give to everyone. I don't know if he was able to.
Ms. Moore, I'm gonna just interrupt you. I know you sent a letter to Mr. Lebrandi, and we're gonna read that into the record.
Great.
If it's not related to building materials.
Oh, it is. Oh, it's definitely related.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so in this guideline, I don't know if you all read it. First of all, new homes can't be built 50 feet from a pipeline.
Okay, that's not related to building
Oh,
materials.
but it is, but I'll show you. And over here, it says trees can't be 25 feet. So I was hoping that, first of all, we're putting, a lot of houses in the way of that buffer zone with the pipeline. So I hope everybody knows this because it's supposed to be disclosed. The gas company is supposed to approve the plan besides you guys. And the trees and the tree warden, he put in 25 feet trees that were within 25 feet. So this is all dangerous for the public.
Yeah, we
And I
dealt
know
with
you
that.
guys can have this meeting.
We dealt with that.
Elephant in the room. Can
Thank you,
see
Ms. Moore.
I
This is
made
off
the
topic.
cartoon.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Do we have anybody else? Bill, are you-
Yes, Mr. Lally, I'll bring him in. Go ahead, Mr. Lally.
Okay, thanks, Bill. Yeah, I'm reading, I have a copy of the, 1 second.
Jalali, are you ready? Let's go to Ms. McGrath then. Mr. Jalali is not ready.
Hi, this is Eve McGrath from 63 Teeter Rock. Commissioner Silber, could you explain how the commission has made the decision about the 25 feet and 50 feet?
Which 25 feet and 50 feet are you referring to?
The one Ms. Moore was talking about, that the deck and the tree line are not outside the 50 feet?
Are you referring to the bulk regulations or are you referring to the pipeline?
Pipeline.
So the pipeline was discussed and, I'm not sure what the right word is legally, adjudicated by this commission in 2019. And we're not discussing that. We don't have the authority from the court to take another look at that aspect of this development. We have two issues before us tonight. One is the building standards and materials and styles, and the other is the landscape plan, and that's it. That's our jurisdiction for tonight, Ms. McGrath. So I can't. Yeah.
I appreciate that, and but my question is, if there's a safety issue that has been brought up, shouldn't that be addressed before building takes place? And if this is not the right time to do it, then can you inform the public when is the right time to do so?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose there's that might be something to be addressed with another town agency. It might be something that to be addressed before COs are issued. I'm not sure. I mean, that might be, if there's a safety issue. Yeah, I'm not sure about the process, and I'm not going to filibuster on it. I don't.
Okay, so could Rob, could you get back to us as to what is the proper steps that need to be taken in order to make sure that these new buildings create a safe community for the entire area of Nichols?
I can say that the gas company did sign off on it 2 years ago.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, all we're asking for is clarification. So Rob, could you let the commissioner know or let public know what they need to do to make sure that that's safe?
What the next steps are to make sure that the Tennessee pipeline is safe for this development?
Yes, that the pipeline is safe in response to what should be done.
The applicant has spoken with and is going to work with Tennessee Gas with this development. They can't do anything that they're not allowed to do in terms of safety measurements. So
there's probably correspondence from 2 years ago in the original application from the applicant. So maybe we can.
And during the building process as well too, there's certain distance requirements that are needed. And, the architect and the engineer and the surveyor and the attorneys have looked into this.
Okay, but if there's a concern, Rob, all I'm asking, I don't need, this is late and I appreciate all the time of the commissioners. All I'm saying is that I'd like, point by point, what are the next steps that can be taken to ensure that the community is being built in a safe way for the existing community and of course for those who are going to be buying.
Okay, sure. I could get those for you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McGrath.
Thank you.
Do we want to go back to Mr. Lally, or is he ready? Or
Yes. Am I in the room?
yes, sir.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, from the decision in January, I was reading that it states the record reveals that the commission did not have, this is related to the landscaping plan. The commission did not have before the recommended landscaping plan at the time, and the tree warden was still working with the applicant's landscape architect at the time of the approval. Clearly, this is what Judge Radcliffe wrote, clearly the commission could not approve and the public could not comment upon a landscaping plan, which was still a work in progress. Like AJ Grasso just did with the home designs, walked us through. Shouldn't the landscape plan be presented to the public in the public hearing that we're in right now as to what trees come down, what trees stay, what trees are planted at distance from the pipeline, et cetera?
I mean, noted.
Can we get that? Is that appropriate? Should we at the next meeting, or is that something we could do now? It would be great if the tree warden was here, because clearly, if you read in one other point, Tony, is that really, I mean, it's only a 20-page decision. All the commissioners, I know you guys are volunteers, but please, for the sake of the town, you guys should read this directive from the court before any decision's made. It's just common sense. So that's what I'd state. We would all be grateful if number one, you would read the decision, 20-page decision, and also present the landscape plan to the public. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I'm just going to refer back on that point to because I don't recall the details of the landscape plan. I will acknowledge that, and I would have wanted Mr. Jakes to offer some more detail in a one-sentence letter. But the attorney said that letter represents sign off, and I'll ask the attorney if he wants to clarify that or reiterate it. But that's what I'm going on. You're muted, Attorney Nugent.
Well, you said you're going to ask the attorney. Were you referring to me?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry. Yeah.
I don't have anything to add there, but I'm just saying that he has stated his approval, right? That's one thing that you need, right? So you need to have that in hand in order to do whatever else you believe you need to do in order to assess the landscape plan. I don't know, Attorney Bellis or Mr. Grasso want to speak to the plan. I don't know if there were any changes from what was reviewed previously. I understand there weren't, but maybe you want to elaborate on that.
Attorney Bellis, you're muted.
Yeah, I didn't know if, okay, I was waiting for the chair to recognize me. Thank you, sir. Yes, I think Attorney Nugent hit it on the head. The mistake that was made earlier was that the tree warden hadn't given you his recommendation of approval before you voted. And now he's done so, and that's why the letter is so short. The plan itself is the same plan. And that plan has been submitted and always was part of the application. So as far as that's concerned, that's why the judge said that he needed to review it prior to this hearing this evening and give you a letter stating that he reviewed it and it was acceptable to him. And that's what he did. I don't know if you wanted me to comment in rebuttal of the other couple comments. Would that be appropriate?
Let's just see if there's any more members of the public.
Okay, I'll mute. Yeah.
Sure. One last roll here. If there's any member of the public who'd like to speak, you may press the raise hand button at the bottom of your screen or *9 on your phone. Nobody has their hand up.
Okay, Attorney Bellis, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I'll be very quick. I know it's late for you guys. I hope I didn't mislead Mr. Marcus. Perhaps I was just shortening my remarks, but I want to make it clear on the standards for design. I specifically wrote for restrictions, no trucks parked on lots or common ground or on private road except for deliveries. So I think I was pretty clear that people are not allowed to have commercial trucks in their driveway. So that's what I wrote in the design standards, and that's what's on your site plan.
Where did you get that? Where did you pull that from? Because it's different from this regulation.
The regulation says,
it says no trucks or commercial type vehicles shall be stored or parked on any lots or common ground except while parked in a closed private garage or while performing services at a dwelling. In no case, however, shall vehicles be parked on the roads, passageways, or on other right-of-way or access way in the development.
I wrote, no trucks shall be parked on lots or common ground or on private road except for deliveries.
All right, well, listen, you will accept as a condition of approval that we will adhere to the letter of the regulation.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
My intention was to make it to that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Just quickly, some of these things were, you were right. Everyone's right. We have to focus on what the judge asked us to do. As far as the pipeline, those were just guidelines. I just want to set for the record. There's an easement for the pipeline, and we're in no way encroaching on that easement with homes or trees. The applicant always contacts the pipeline people prior to the start of construction.
Attorney Bellis, can you provide for the members of the public via the town planner, whatever correspondence you have from the gas company?
I think the woman was referring to some guidelines that are generally, and again, guidelines are not the law. So that's all.
Well, do you have anything from I think you said that you had been in contact with them. If you have anything, can we see it?
I don't have it in front of me now.
Well, you don't have to do it now. Just yeah.
Attorney Bellis, if you could give me the process of which you take to.
I'll do it with Rob. Yeah, no problem. Okay. But I just wanted to make clear, we are not encroaching on any of their easements. That had to be clear. The landscape, Mr. Lally talked about the landscape plan. It is part of the record and you all have it. So those are the only, oh, Ms. Schrader, she talked about the style of the homes. I think Attorney Nugent hit it on the head. I have to look at your regulation and so do you. And all it states is that these houses shall be developed in a fashion that is generally consistent with the housing patterns in the town and will maintain the general character of the neighborhood in which it is located. So that's the finding that you have to make. And I think that we have provided you with detailed elevations, detailed floor plans, detailed specifications, and you heard from Mr. AJ Grasso I think in pretty good detail, so that you have an idea of what's going to be built. And I agree with council, as long as that is consistent with what your regulation requires, that's the finding you do have to make. The other finding is that you received the tree warden's letter, that he's accepted the landscape plan, and that you, as the Planning and Zoning Commission, have agreed to adopt that landscape plan and make it part of the approval. Those are the two things.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you all for hearing us.
For the commission, we do have that landscape plan. We had it in March. So if anybody wants to refresh, you have the materials. And so now we also have the tree warden's approval. So, okay.
I think you're all set. Unless you have something for me, I don't have anything else to present.
Let me ask the commissioners if they have anything for you, Attorney Bellis, and I'll start with Commissioner Prush, who is the architect among us and knows his stuff. You got to unmute, sir. Where did Commissioner?
Yeah, I have no further questions for Attorney Bellis. No, I'm good.
All right. Where's Commissioner Corey? Seems to have disappeared. Commissioner Tequila, do you have anything for Attorney Bellis?
I don't have anything further for Attorney Bellis.
Commissioner Cinto, if you're unmuted, do you have anything? I'll take that as a no. Okay, thank you. We're all set. Now, I think at this point, we should, Attorney Nugent, just confirm for me, we should have a motion to close the public hearing.
Correct.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
Commissioner Silber, are you just going to add those that letter into the evidence or exhibits?
Which letter? Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. You know what? Should we read it? Did you want me to read it?
She did speak tonight, so I just, I think we could just state, she did state.
I think it's fine to add it. Just make it part of the record. It really wasn't relevant to what we're discussing tonight, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay. So it'll be part of that record. The letter from Ms. Moore will be part of the record, available to anybody who wants to look at it. Now I'll accept the motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Thank you, Commissioner. I need a second. And we're missing Commissioner Corey. Commissioner Tequila, do you want to second it?
No.
All right, then we're going to sit here and wait for Commissioner Corey.
I think Commissioner Cinto is able to participate if he gets on his phone.
That we can hope. Don, are you there?
Commissioner Cinto's.
Ron, can you text Tony Corey and ask him where he went, please? Or somebody? There he is. Commissioner Corey, you're back.
Yeah, I missed about 4 or 5 minutes. Sorry. Something happened to my computer.
Thank you for coming back. We had a brief rebuttal from Attorney Bellis responding to the speakers. I don't know if you need us to reiterate that, but we do have a motion now made by Commissioner Prush to close the public hearing. And we need a second.
Okay. Yeah, okay, should I at least hear a summary of the?
Yeah. Attorney Bellis, do you want to just walk through what you're very briefly?
Yes, no problem.
Thank you.
Yeah, Commissioner, I explained that in the standards for design that I put on the site plan, that no trucks will be parked on any of the lots.
I heard that part, yeah.
Oh, okay, or common ground or private road except for deliveries. So we would agree to abide by your regulation as far as that. I just
So
wanted to
you would
make that-
agree with the comment before about maybe an amendment to clarify that?
We will make it as a condition of approval that they adhere to our regulations and what they
Yes,
say
okay.
explicitly.
Yeah.
Okay.
And okay, and then I explained that the pipeline was not relevant to what our charge was here tonight, but those are only guidelines, and that we contact the pipeline people prior to construction to make sure there's no issues.
And that you will share whatever correspondence you have with Rob LaBrandy so we can disseminate it to the public. We can also make that a condition.
And then Mr. Lally had brought up the landscape plan, and I wanted to make clear that the landscape plan is part of your record. I think it's dated 3/9/21, and I think the chair found it, so you do have that. I think I also stated that I agreed with your counsel that you should make a finding that the plans, elevations, and the presentation by AJ Grasso convince you as a planning and zoning commission that these homes will be consistent with the homes that are found in the town of Trumbull and specifically in Nichols. That should be one of your findings. Other than that, I had no other comments.
Okay, thank you. So a motion was made to close.
Yes.
We have to redo them.
Yeah, we should. Do you want to withdraw that, please, Commissioner Prush, and just because Commissioner Corey was out of the meeting.
Yeah,
Let's just
I'm fine. I did not realize he was gone, and I will withdraw my motion.
And I will give you, Commissioner.
Proper way.
Thank you, sir. And Commissioner Corey, I'll give you the opportunity to make any final comments. I gave everybody else that opportunity. So,
I don't think I have any final comments at this time.
Okay, I'll accept the motion to close the public hearing.
Okay, I'll go back and motion to close the public hearing.
Thank you, sir. I need a second. Seconded by Commissioner Corey. We will do a roll call. And there's 4 of us. We should have 5, but we only have 4. But anyway, Commissioner Prush, to close the public hearing.
Yeah, yes, approved.
Commissioner Corey.
Approved.
Commissioner D'Aquila.
D'Aquila votes no.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I vote yes, close the public hearing. Commissioner Cinto. Do you have any advice on that, counsel?
I don't know if someone is able to call him. I don't have his number, but.
And how should we proceed? We have 4 participating commissioners, but 5 on the call.
I could try calling him if you want. Call Dan Cinto.
Maybe he's in the kitchen getting a cup of coffee.
You have a quorum without him, but he's an alternate.
It's a majority.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. We can proceed without him.
I don't need to call him?
No, go ahead. See if you can get him back on.
No, just.
Okay, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
All right, so that's 3 in favor and one opposed. That's enough to carry the motion. So the motion is approved to close the public hearing. Okay.
You all, I'll be leaving your Zoom meeting now. Good luck.
All right. And just point of order, Attorney Nugent, so we should do the regular meeting agenda items before we have a work session? Or how's that work?
I guess you have something left.
Approval of minutes, that's
Minutes.
it.
Okay.
Okay, I'll accept a motion to accept the minutes from the March 24th meeting.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Prush, seconded by Commissioner DeQuilla. All those in favor, raise your hands. I think that's a non-controversial item, so that's 4-0.
We didn't do anything.
Yeah, that's right, that's right.
Continued it tonight.
So, okay, the minutes of the March 24th meeting are approved, and now we enter a work session. I don't know if we need a vote for that, right? We don't.
I don't think so.
Okay, so commission, let's talk about the 2157 Huntington Turnpike then. Are you all folks ready to have a conversation about that and vote one way or the other? I'll speak for myself, I am, and I think we heard what we needed to hear, given the very limited charge that we have. We have the landscape plan, which we have in detail and we've had for more than a month. And we just got the presentation that we sought on the construction materials. If you want, we can start with a motion to approve for discussion purposes.
I'll motion to approve for discussion purposes. Yeah, I'll motion to approve the application.
Thank you, Commissioner. Prush moves to approve and Commissioner Corey seconds it. So let's just go around the table then. Commissioner Prush.
Okay, well, I made some of my observations earlier. I think that, and again, I'm trying to keep this to, I think we covered what, not only what Attorney Bellis came with, but what Chairman Silver was discussing as far as what the judge was asking us to do, even though I didn't see the memorandum. I think I'm reasonably clear on that. You know, as far as, and I made some comments that I think that, you know, it really comes down to, you know, the design standards are being met. I think the materials are, you know, current and contemporary, but many of the houses in Nichols are being built, if any new houses are being done in Trumbull today. I think if houses of different periods are built in different ways for different reasons. And I think part of what I'm hearing is homes that are built for a certain age group in 2021 is a constant theme that I've heard from the applicant. I think one of the things that's made a big difference here is, as opposed to Hawks Ridge, is the reduction of the number of units to 10. There's more space in between the units and there's more room. And I think that makes a difference as far as individually standing homes. I do think there is enough latitude, and I can appreciate that the options and availability of personal decisions on the part of buyers, because most builders that are building on speculation or whatever, they really don't want to do a custom house. They do not want to deal with the client, and that's why you see developments, and there are same in Trumbull over the years that are very consistent. They look the same. We can go down streets in Trumbull and every house looks the same. So I think at least there's again enough options and latitude here that there will be differences. I agree that they are within a particular theme, but I don't want to argue against a theme that is part driven by the market also, because we do want this to be a successful development. We do want the homes to be sold. So I have to trust what we're hearing in that regard. So I think that, again, while they're not, you can find many differences in the area. They're also different from each other, and I think generally the scale, the height, the bulk is consistent. And as I said, I think the more separation has made a big difference. So, and as far as the landscape plan goes, my understanding is the tree warden finds it acceptable. He makes a recommendation for us to approve it. I trust his judgment on that, and he is requiring a final plan, of course, prior to any landscape installation. So he does have another opportunity to be sure that what he believes the intentions are as far as landscaping are going to be carried out. So I think that's where I am right now.
Thank you. Those are good observations. And I have to say that just, thinking back to 2 years ago, the landscape hot buttons that I had are addressed on this plan. There's lots of border and buffering on Mr. Lally's side, and there's lots of buffering and border to the north. And there's a whole bunch of old trees to the north there, bordering on that next property up, and they're all still there. So I would want that. And, naturally it is, well, it's the judge says it's our decision, and that's what I want. So I wouldn't want that to change. And there are I think I see the evergreens along the front. So I'm good with the landscape plan. Commissioner Corey, do you have anything?
I think you both can't really do better than what both you and Commissioner Prush said.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner DeQuilla.
I agree with Commissioner Prush in the sense that the reduction down to 10 units is better than the original one, and it looks nice. However, I have a real concern about the process in which this commission is using. When I'm being denied an opportunity to question a key player of staff, which is Warren Jakes, who's the tree warden, I find that to be problematic. And I don't think that is appropriate. I should be given the opportunity to question him, and to deny me is inappropriate.
Thank you, Commissioner DeQuilla. You have reviewed the plan we've had for probably 45
I reviewed all the plans since 2019.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm not, and we have as, well, I'm not going to belabor it. I want to amend the resolution to approve, the motion to approve with a couple of amendments. One, I want to state explicitly, and Linda, are you, this for you to take down, or I want to state explicitly that the finding that this commission finds that the building materials and the character of the development are consistent with the character of the broader neighborhood. I want to say that for the record. I believe that. I want to say that a condition of approval will be that the applicant adheres to the letter of the zoning regulations with regard to parking on site. I think that's explicit enough. I mean, on-site parking is on-site parking, right? I think so.
You're going to explicitly talk to commercial?
Yes, that's right. That's right. And the regulation is couldn't be clearer. No commercial vehicles are allowed to be parked there unless they're
in all residential zones.
Yeah.
You can't store commercial vehicles. So
yeah.
It's a standard.
Yeah. And then the third condition is that the applicant share any previous correspondence with the with the public that it had with the gas company, and or this is, there's an or here. If it wants to get an explicit sign off that they're not encroaching on the right of way, so there's no, there's no authority to be applied here, then that's fine too, in my opinion.
Second your amendment.
Thank you. So actually, I don't know if Attorney Nugent, am I allowed to make the amendment?
Technically, the chair should not be making the motion to amend.
Well, those are the three things I'd like to amend the initial resolution for. Commissioner Corey, would you make that motion?
I make the motion to amend the condition of approval as previously stated by Chairman Silver.
Can I get a second, please?
I'll second.
Thank you. Thank you also, Commissioner D'Aquila, but the second is Commissioner Prush. All those in favor, raise your hands.
In favor of what? Of
The
amendment? Of the amended?
Of the amendments, yes, the amended original resolution.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so now I guess if there's no more discussion on the
Mr. Chairman, I wasn't finished.
Oh, go, what?
I wasn't finished with my comment.
Okay, we have an amended resolution. Let's continue the discussion. Go ahead.
Our standards say, the applicant says that no trucks shall be parked. Does that include pickup trucks that are considered to be passenger vehicles?
That's a question for Rob. It says commercial type in the regulations, so I assume that would be pickup trucks, but I don't know.
Well, the pickup trucks would have to be, they'd have to have something on the side of it that says that they're for a commercial use. If it was like a contractor or something like that. If it was a pickup truck that just somebody owned and was registered as just a standard truck and not a commercial vehicle, then there's really nothing we could do.
The applicant says in their restrictions that no trucks. Should we exclude pickup trucks?
No, we should not exclude pickup trucks because those are completely acceptable form of private vehicle. So the applicant,
that's what the applicant is saying.
The applicant is going to adhere to the regulations. So this is kind of a moot.
I think Commissioner D'Aquila said to change the trucks to just commercial trucks, or
exactly.
Yeah, just leave them in there.
But that's what the regulation says.
Your previous motion specified that it would be, the wording of the regulation would be mandated for approval.
Yeah, it just says no trucks parked. So maybe no commercial trucks parked for the restrictions.
Yeah, I mean, I think he should strike that piece and use what we say in the regulation, but go ahead.
Yes, we would have enforced it with the regulation anyways. That's a standard that we follow anyway.
Thank you, Rob. What else do you have, Commissioner D'Aquila?
I really object because
Can we not go over stuff that you've already covered, please?
Yes, it is. Well, I'm stating this as the discussion period of
Go ahead.
workshop.
Go ahead.
To deny me an opportunity to read the judge's amendment is not acceptable.
Well, I mean,
I've heard other people's reading it and reading something and not other things. I would like to see it. Therefore, I'd like to second Commissioner Corey's original motion that was never seconded. I would like to second his motion to continue this meeting.
Thank you for your perspective. It's valued as always. Let's vote because I think you're finished. So let's just have the vote.
No, I'm not finished.
Go ahead. I'm not going to go on forever like this. And if you're starting to make things up to pursue this,
I'm sorry, what was that, Commissioner?
If you're making up objections to just continue this, we're not going to do it forever. So go ahead.
Well, what do you mean making up?
It sounds like you're coming up with things that you've already said before and we've discussed, and I'd rather just get to the vote.
I will not be able to approve this because I have no access to important material by the judge. Okay, that's my final comment. I will not be able to approve.
Okay, we understand and we appreciate your perspective. You bring a lot to this commission. Let's call the question and we'll do a roll call. Commissioner Prush on the amended motion.
Yes.
Commissioner Corey on the amended motion.
Yes.
Commissioner D'Aquila on the amended motion.
Abstain.
Thank you, Commissioner D'Aquila. Commissioner Cinto, well, and I'm voting yes. So it's 3 and 1 abstention, Linda. So the motion carries.
Commissioner Silver?
Yes, Attorney Nugent.
I do recommend that the commission make a finding in its decision here tonight that the applicant has complied. I think you already covered the design portion of it, but I recommend that you make a finding that they've complied with the standards for design also, the 8 items that we've gone over a few times. I think it would be important to include that in your decision, that you make that finding.
Okay. So procedurally, what should we do? We just voted to approve the
But you're just going to make a finding as part of your decision to approve.
Okay, so, all right, so that'll be a separate vote, separate motion, separate vote?
You can do it by motion. I mean, you've been over them. I mean, it's been discussed, but I think it's important just to clarify for the record that you have concluded that, assuming you have, that they've met the design standards.
Okay, so I will entertain a motion that says exactly that. The Planning and Zoning Commission concludes that the applicant has met the design standards, and that is a specific part of the regulation.
I make that motion.
Thank you.
A second.
Thank you. We'll go around person to person. Commissioner Corey, how do you vote on the motion?
For.
Commissioner Prush.
Approve, yes.
Commissioner D'Aquila. We're talking about the design standards.
Oh. Why are we doing this?
At the recommendation of the attorney.
I don't understand. Why are we doing this?
The attorney just said, were you listening? The attorney said that he thinks it's wise for us to state for the record that we conclude that the applicant has met the design standards. And you recall Attorney Bellis early in the conversation went through the 8 standards.
I think this is all redundant, so I no vote.
You abstain then, and I vote yes.
No, I no vote.
Oh, you no vote, okay. Got it. And I vote yes, so that's 3 in favor and 1 opposed. And just, Linda, do you have the language there, or do you need, can you read it back to us?
What do you want me to read back?
Exactly what that motion was. The commission has concluded that the applicant meets
Right, they has concluded that the applicant has met the
design standards per the Trumbull zoning regulations.
Okay.
That's it.
Great. All right, folks. I think that's a wrap.
Thank you very much, everyone. Good night. I appreciate all your help.
You need a motion to adjourn.
I just want to add one thing. I'm sorry, just to be late. Just for planner's report, I just want to inform everybody that we're going to be doing our study of Trumbull Center. So we're going to be so our consultant is Freeman and Company, and we're going to be contacting, working with this commission, economic development, and a few other commissions to do a study of Trumbull Center. So be on the lookout. We're probably going to have a few meetings in May via Zoom. So I'll be sending you that information.
I just have one question before
Sure.
I had asked you, I called you about a particular issue. I didn't know if, I called Rob about.
The drive-through?
Yeah, the drive-through at Starbucks causing backups on White Plains Road. And I was wondering if there's anything. First I called the zoning enforcement officer and he said I should call Planning and Zoning Commission. And I was wondering if there was anything we could do about that. I know that like at Dutchess and Monroe, when it's backed up, they have somebody go outside, you pull ahead and they deliver to the car. And I wonder if are we going to be able to do anything like that?
I think to enforce them to change anything now is going to be tough because they do have their approvals, and we could recommend that they do it. We could recommend it.
Can we put a letter together asking them to try to do something?
I think if that's something that the commission wants, we could, and you guys agree upon some verbiage, then we could do something, I guess.
We can, just to interject, one, it is a problem when those cars back out onto White Plains Road, but that would go to the police commission, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I was told it went to. I was told by our zoning enforcement officer that I should go to Rob. So just telling you what I was told.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll check with Chief Lombardo. I know there was some discussion that we've had in that center before. I know that there's going to be some. I think Bill Wright. There's going to be some light configurations done over there. They just finalized the medium over there.
But what I would like to recommend is that we write them a formal letter saying that we feel that they're not adequately moving people through the line, and that they should, during peak hours, they should develop a plan to allow people to put an order in and move ahead in the line and deliver to relieve the backup on White Plains Road and in the parking lot. I mean, I think they could do that. I think there are ways to do it, and it doesn't have to be a redesign of the parking lot. It could be just having extra people during peak hours, figuring out a way to move people quicker.
Yeah, I mean, I support Commissioner Corey on that. I think it's a reasonable request to make of the business owner.
I'd like to get it in writing.
It really is.
We asked them.
We're just, if you want me to draft something, Rob, I will.
I could even.
Yeah, if you draft something, I'll put on the letterhead and we could send that out, and I'll send it to everybody.
Yeah, it's just a request, and I'd like to have it on record that it's the Planning and Zoning Commission requested it, and we believe that there are ways to do it, to improve it.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. We can copy the Police Commission Chairman, Mr. Baldwin, and Chief Lombardo, and
it only has to be in peak hours, and I would include in there when they observe that the line gets within 2 cars of the entrance, they should take that action, at least, some number, whatever the number is.
Yeah, I mean,
when it gets within 2 cars, that's when people start going bonkers.
And they don't have the same level of interior service, walk-in service anymore. So, I mean, they can redeploy people to
right.
Move those
I'd like to
lines.
at least try that. I think we got to get creative, and we could do something without tearing up concrete.
All we're doing is putting them on notice that we're acknowledging that they have a challenge there, and I think that's within our rights. So, did you want to draft something and get it to us, Rob? Of course. Rob?
Okay,
I'm sorry, you're breaking up. What was that?
Oh, I said just clarifying whether you're going to write that or I am.
Whatever you want to do. I could draft something and send it to you, and you could just.
That's fine. Please do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that consideration.
Okay, good night.
Mr. Chairman, it's my recollection, and it's not that great a recollection, but the location of that order entry station should have been on the north side of the building and was not placed there. And if it was placed there, you would not have that type of backup. So who approves the final version of what they're doing? This question is to Roberto.
Yeah, that change was discussed with staff, and I could check to see the change that was made. That change did not alter the amount of parking, the amount of queuing. it still allowed people to get to that existing window. The menu didn't change. The menu location changed to the island where it was against the wall, but still the number of vehicles that could still queue there is that original number. So just the menu board changed to a different location from the wall, retaining wall, to the island, but the number of cars that you could fit in that row is still that exact number.
But how do we make changes after it got approved by planning and zoning?
I could check that for you, but
They came back to us, but listen, the attorney's gone. I think we voted to adjourn the meeting, so I'd like to wrap this up. We didn't vote? Linda, we didn't vote, but we have a motion to adjourn.
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, maybe Tony DeQuilla, maybe we should take this offline and work on it with Rob, and then you can certainly.
Oh, I will.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Because it's a troubling problem there. If I park in the lane nearest to the street, I can't back out because there's not enough room to turn.
Let's have that conversation, and because this is a posted meeting, and now we're involved in a conversation that was not on the agenda. Let's take it offline with Rob, and Rob can report to the commission at his, when he's able to, and we can move from there.
Sure.
Thank you, Tony.
Of course.
Thank you.
Of course. Now I'll accept a motion to adjourn this meeting from Commissioner DeQuilla. Second. Commissioner Corey. All those in favor, raise your hands. 4-0. Have a great night, people.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.